starting the show relatively soon. I just want to get, as usual, a few things taken care of, and then, of course, we'll get to it. I'm hunting, watching, waiting for my holdings to go into the green so I can take out some profits. I like that. I like that though, Zach. All right, we'll have to get to that. I'm reading things that you guys don't know about. Hopefully, Zach will make it in the show tonight, and we can go over. This is going to kind of be part two. So there was a part one to this. Let's see. Part one was this past Friday, where I went over the strategies I use, or some of the strategies that I use. I figured I'd get to give away some of them, and this way it can help you guys looking for these certain things to trade. So we went over that, like I said, Friday, and now I told everybody during that show to trade that we would be getting. So we went over that, like I said, Friday, and more information. I told everybody during that show to. So that's what we're doing. We're going to be. This is kind of part two, more or less, kind of part two, to Friday's videos. And if you guys always, like usual, give me a second. I have to just throw out that I'm live in a few spots, and then we'll get started. I am live trading right now, so I want to show you guys some live trades. Okay, we're going to be going over things that I actually trade during the day, since I figure that's probably a good help. And since I am in the Forex market right now full time, remember the crypto market is kind of hurting, and I go where the money is. And if Forex is moving in certain ways, has a nice market cycle, that's where I jump to. So that's my reasoning. That's why the crypto market has been like, eh. Now, it doesn't mean I haven't been making money with it, because honestly, I made a killing the last couple days trading KuCoin futures. So I actually have that up as well, just because, again, I'm going to show you guys kind of what I go through, the cycles that I do, the times that I do, and we'll see if that can give you some kind of measurement on how you guys can also use that information for your own trades. Now, this is going to be a little bit different tonight. This is going to be, we usually go over a new coin, and I don't think we're going to do that tonight. But if anybody wants to go over specific coin, like usual, ask, and we'll go over that later. We'll go over your coin. We'll see what kind of TA it has on it. If it's crypto, remember, all the crypto TA looks similar, looks the same. So Bitcoin is the reason for that. We have to wait. All right, we'll get started in just a second, and I apologize, it always just takes me a minute. I can't do it beforehand because if to do it beforehand, I need all the information, like the links and stuff. So since I can't do it beforehand, I'm sorry. The first couple minutes of the video, I know you guys have to wait. I apologize. Let's see, how'd I do? Almost 4 minutes? Okay, we can kind of get started. All right. We can kind of get started. Okay, so like I said before, if you guys get a chance or you wanted to, you can go over the strategy that I put out on Friday. It's a strategy that I use. Zach, what's going on, baby boy? How you doing, man? Good to have you, Zach. Zach was somebody that was interested in learning the strat last week, so he is somebody that is curious about the strat. And actually, Zach, I'm so glad you like. I have to tell you this. I'm so glad that you just wrote that comment on Facebook that you don't have any money to trade. You're waiting for profits to trade. That is exactly what you should be doing. Seriously. And especially, now I'm not saying that maybe you can't find good trades. Maybe you can. But I like the fact that you're waiting. That's showing control. You need to have so much control over how you want your trades to go. And that's why, Denny, Joe, what's happening, boys? Glad to have you guys as usual. Let me move this stuff out. Now, guys, I am going to mention this again. I'm probably going to mention this again before we start it. Tonight, specifically, this is part two. For anybody that was at Friday's show, we went over technical analysis. I gave out some of what I use is like I gave away kind of my secrets a little bit. This is part two. So understand, this is not going to be a show where we're talking about new coin. This is going to be a show where we talk about how to get a better hold of the trade you want. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we want. Since crypto is in a slump, and I know you guys already know this, crypto's in a slump, right? Now, this is the perp version, but it's pretty much the same thing. Let me get rid of my EMA. We fell, okay? The bottom line is we fell, and I did not think we were going to fall. It's okay for the moment. We're still headed in the direction we want to head, but to be perfectly honest, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think it could be trouble, and that's why I'm kind of concerned. Let's see if I can get just real quick, just because I like to go over it with you guys. And again, if you are new, I'm sure I know most of you, but for those of you that are new, we go over Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the most important coin. Bitcoin tells us which way the direction is headed. Okay, that's it. So much fun. Well, brother, it's it's time to get our FUD on because man, I'm so sick of all the time seeing prices down, down, down. And I know it's gonna change. I know it's gonna change. But I really didn't expect this fall, man. I really did not expect this fall from 40K. And to me, it's like a little bit of a warning. Like, hey, the bear market might not be over yet. And it makes me feel nervous. So that's, and I'm going to spread FUD that way so that maybe somebody else doesn't throw their money out there when they really don't want to and they listen to my stupid ass say, oh, well, hey, this guy said the market's not great. Maybe I shouldn't do it. So I'm going to spread my FUD. Okay? Yeah, dude, it's killing me too. Listen, it's killing me. I love to trade crypto. Okay? I love it. I love it. I love to trade crypto futures specifically. Okay? I loves it. I loves it, and he loves it. You can go through my KuCoin, right? And you can see so much of my day is taken up just in this screen of constant trades, okay? I do this all day. Now, there's a lot of perp versions, okay, which is the futures versions. There's a lot of perp versions of crypto. This is the perp stuff. You see on the side how it says perp next to it? That means it's traded in at least KuCoins. I'm sure it's Binance and a few others. But these are the futures versions you're allowed to trade. Now, they pretty much match the other versions, but this is what I trade all day. Like this stuff here is what I trade. So if, of course, I can trade longs and shorts, but if the market is acting funky and in ways that I'm not expecting, then I don't trade. And I hate that. I hate it. I want to trade. But if I already understand, if I don't have patience, I'm going to lose out. So there you go. That was my FUD attack. That was my attack on your FUD. But I couldn't agree with you more that I am sick of seeing constantly prices down. This fall changed a lot of things, I'll be honest. This fall changed the way that I have to look at the new market cycle. And you know what? That sucks because, man, I was on top of the new market cycle. I was ready to ride that bad boy like a wave, bust out the surfboard, jump on top, make my way to the moon with my rocket surfboard. And friggin', we fell out of the 40K. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like it sucks because that... That specifically, I really didn't want to happen. Like there are specific moments that can set dominoes into one domino can knock all the dominoes down. Well, sadly, that 40K drop that we just got could be that first domino that puts us back in the bear cycle. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Look, you got me yelling already. We haven't even been going for 10 minutes. And you got me yelling at the screen already. All right, let me calm down. Let me bring myself back. Sorry. Okay, I'm enjoying myself. Sorry. Okay. All right. We got to get to the trading stuff. I apologize. I'm already going off on a rail. It's you. It's your fault, though. Zach says we have a bunch of fun. Yeah, it seems like we may not be near the end of the bear market, so hopefully that is the case. Well, again, the idea is that the end of the bear market hopefully was in a very specific movement. And that was this movement right here. This was the first chance we had. This guy right there, if you guys see it on screen, that's the chance that we had. So we've had this chance now, I only think once or twice, but that was our chance. Okay? Yeah, start burning some sage for me. I like that. Get rid of the bad voodoo. Any of the bad voodoo, the bad voodoo badooju. Yeah, please, everybody start doing the sage to help the crypto market go back into the bull cycle. Let's get it worldwide, man. Let's start this. Hands across the blockchain. Ooh, hands across the blockchain. I'm telling you, man, that's a winner. That's a solid winner. Hands across the blockchain. Somebody write that down. Okay, anyway. So as you can see, this was the chance we had. That happened the first week of February. So the first week of February, I was like, oh my goodness, yes, it's finally time. We can finally get back into the bull market. Okay, we've been in this damn bear market now for so long. I'm sick of this crap. I'm ready for all my holdings to get me where Lambo. I want to know where Lambo is. And crypto keeps going, not here yet. And I'm going, well, where's my stupid Lambo, bro? This is getting a little old. I'm ready for Lambo. So again, this was the break that happened February 4th. Bitcoin developed a new step. So you see this whole block. It's a very important block because this is our first step into the other direction. This was the first chance we had. Oh, uh-oh. I got a trade. Shit. So by the way, I hope you guys can hear me. Shit. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Let me try to mute this. I'm sorry, guys. So my alarms are going off, of course, all day long. And I figured tonight I am actually going to show you some of my live trading. And I've never shown you guys Forex. So tonight we're going to go over Forex because if you like technical analysis, you're going to love Forex, okay? Because Forex actually, everything in the market can be different. Whereas with crypto, everything in the market has to follow Bitcoin, and that's just lame. So stocks and Forex, they work differently. Crypto follows Bitcoin, and that's not fun all the time because if Bitcoin's down, the market's down. So, bro, I'm telling you, hands across the blockchain, I'm starting that NFT. Thank you for writing that down. I think hands across the blockchain is a real winner. Somebody post that. Conquering Crypto's hand across the blockchain. We're going to absolutely do something with that. That's going to be my NFT collection. It'll be a bunch of hands, and they'll all have different hats in each different picture with different chains. And then they'll all have like boogers, and they'll all be ripped apart, and there'll be a zombie version. Yeah, I got this all mapped out. So we're going to talk about zoning today. Let's get into the actual trading, okay? Last week, when on Friday night, we went over one of the methods that I use, and it's a combination of the MACD and what's called the Arun indicator. And you know what? Let's go over that now. So for you guys that aren't used to using indicators or, haven't before, just remember I use one with crossings. The Arun I use with crossings, as you can see. Now you can see down here how you've got the green and the red. So that is supposed to be where there's a possibility that there's a reversal in the market. Now, it's not super accurate. Indicators are not always super accurate. Remember, indicators are giving you information after it's already happened. So what we want to do, what you want to do as a trader, is you want to develop and try and see what's going to happen before you get to the point where the indicator would know. Does that make a little bit of sense? So you really want to be ahead of the market because an indicator gives you information afterwards. We want to try and see if we can form information now in the present before the indicator would give it to us. Then we can use the indicator as extra confirmation. But I like to do price is king. So you can use all the indicators you want. I don't mind. If you want to use your fib, you can use your Arun, you can use everything for all I care. But today, we are going to use the RSI and the MACD. So there's a strategy that I did want to show this past Friday. Pro and iOS are looking very good for your short strategy. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. That's actually something we can check out. So I'm actually going to write that down because if you're finding them for me, that's great. If you're finding something that we can trade or look at, then I'm going to write it down. So Crow. And of course, I'm sure those are the perp versions that we want. because I'm not sure if there's so many things that I track. I don't even know if they have perp versions, but I'm sure they do. Anyway, okay, let's go over just a little bit of what we learned last week. So let me get my A rune, and we're just gonna go over it once because I did already explain it. So if we're looking at odd CAD, actually no, let's go to Crow. Let's go to Crow just so we could. So Crow, actually, let's see if we can have the perp version because you know what? I'm live trading right now, so I'm gonna act like it. Crow. Okay. So here's the strat, and this is before we get into any type of indicators yet. We just first want to check out price. So the first thing I would do is I want to see. Actually, let's see how I want to do this because if I want to go over a little bit what we went last time. Okay, so I'm going to first go over what we did Friday. So on Friday we learned one of my trading styles. Okay, so here are the rules. And I have to usually have this written down because sometimes it even gets confusing for me. But do you see how we have the MACD and how price in this line right here? I'm not going to worry too much about the histogram. So we want to take care. This is what's important, this price level. Okay. So we either want that to be above or below. So we want price and the MACD to have opposite settings. Okay. So first, let's just take a look at this. We want them to be opposite, right? So if the MACD is above the zero line is going to be what's in the center. So if the MACD is above the zero line and price is below the 200 EMA, which is this white line, that means it is a buy signal. See, I have this all written down because it can honestly, it gets confusing for me too. But I wanted to write it down for you guys, and it helps me tell you. So, of course, so this would not be a trade right off the bat. Right off the bat, to me, that's not a trade. What I can do is look at it and go, well, look, price is getting really close to going under this 200 EMA. See this right here? Price is getting really close to getting under our 200 EMA. I am in the 10-minute chart right now. Actually, thank you for noticing that. See, so I'm usually scalping all day. So no, we do not want to be in the 10-minute chart for this. I apologize. I like the hour for this. So I'm glad you pointed that out because I was about to show you the strat in a timeline that I should not be in. I trade on the hour. So for those of you with timeline, good question. Good. I'm glad you pointed this out, Zach. So if you trade, you should be trading in multiple timelines, okay? You should have 3 or 4. So I have 4. I have my highest, which is the day. Then I have my 6 hour, my 1 hour, and my 30-minute. I like to do my trading for the most part in the hour. So I want to use the hour as my main focus area. And then the other time frames are where I'm going to get some more information from. Where's a good zone? Where's a good bounce? Where's good support? Where's resistance? So you want to use multiple time frames, but focus on trading one. Because then you can stick to one and use the rest as information. So I switch between the 3 or the 1 hour and the 3 like all the time, all day long. I use, of course, the 6 in the day for other things, but I go between the 1 and the 3 so I can gauge zones. Zones is going to be something else we're going to go over. That's actually part of the new strats that I'm going to show you guys that I haven't shown yet. But I'm glad we're in a different time frame now. Thank you for reminding me, Zach, that I shouldn't be in the right time frame if I'm going to trade properly. I gotta love that. Okay. So actually, this could be a possibility of something we trade. Let's look why. So now let's look at the indicators. Oh no. Where'd you go? Let's look at the indicators now that we're in the hour, now that we're actually where we want to be. Good. Thank you for pointing that out because not sure if I would have seen that. Okay. So if we actually look, let me expand this a little bit. If we get close to that, I'm going to get closer to that. I'm going to do it in the hour. Okay. So I did mention this last Friday, but the smaller time frames can give you information as to what could might be coming up. So you can use the smaller time frame and say, okay, this might be something that's. Did I lose the stream? Okay. Anyway, this might be something that's coming up soon. So, do you see what I just did there in the 30-minute? Do you see how we have a cross up here? The cross is a specific signal. When I trade, I look for all kinds of signals, all kinds of ways to tell me you should be trading this. This you can go into this and enter, and you've done everything you can to eliminate risk. Well, what we want if price is below now, remember we have an opposite. So of course that's the 30, but let's just say because we looked at the 30, we think that's going to come up. Okay, we think we're going to get a cross up here. The cross is our signal. Price goes above the MACD. Okay, the range goes above it, and if we look, price is below the 200 EMA. This qualifies as a possible upcoming trade. If we go down to the 10-minute, see, that's too much information. If we go to the 30, we can see a cross. So we can say maybe that's something that could be coming up. I'm going to trade it. So we're going to use this as an example. So as you can see down here, we always look for more confirmations, right? Well, these red and green bars, when I use the A rune, Zach, you can use this one too. I don't know if you're using the regular one, or I don't know if you're using the A rune regular or the A rune with the signals. I like the A rune with the signals because sometimes I like to creep this down real low, and then I like to see because I usually don't have enough room, so I'll melt down and shrink the A rune so I can see the little buy and sell signals at the bottom. So that's the reason why I like to see the actual signals. But these crossing areas down here are indications that there's possibly a reversal in price. So if I have a green bar here, okay, price is under the 200 EMA, and the MACD is about to go above the zero line. So to me, that means this could be a solid buy, okay? Because we know that price likes to swing around the 200 EMA, okay? It oscillates. It has to. That's what the EMA is there for. The 200 is solid. It's something that's perfectly almost in the middle, and you can see price move around it. So we're below price. We expect price to go up then, right? Well, let's play a game and say we're going to make a trade. Okay, and we're going to actually come back to this trade. Now, this is going to be, now I'm not going over any of the strategies. I'm just using this so I can go over it with you guys so you can actually see. I thought I turned this stuff off. So you can actually see what the trade could look like. But I'm not going to use any other confirmations. We're just going to say that I placed the order. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, okay, because you shouldn't be, this is where, okay, so Zach, I know you remember a lot of stuff we went over Friday. Well, one of the things that I didn't show you, which you really should know and I should incorporate with that system, is you guys need to learn zones. Okay, zones are so important, and they are not specifically, you PN me a chart layout? What's this chart showing me? Oh, okay, so this is your chart. Yes, great. So you are using, I think you're just trying to tell me that you do use the correct one. Yeah, great. That's a perfect setup, man. That's a great setup. That's the kind of setup that I would say perfect. Perfect. I love that kind of setup. Okay, let me continue. So if I were to say this looks like it could be a winner, one of the main things that I have to do is wait for these lines to cross. That's going to be my hour confirmation. Until those lines cross, I don't place a trade. When you have these rules, you need to live by them. You live and die by the rules you set up for yourself. I've got more rules. I've got rules on top of rules on top of rules, okay? I have rules everywhere. When you find what works for you, you need to develop rules. Those rules are what you live and die by. If you are willing to break the rules, sometimes it might not work out. Now you can do this by back testing, but I like to back test manually to see what would happen in my trade. Now, with all of that said, we are still in the A rune and MACD strategy. We have not moved on to the other one. So again, that's all this is going to be a live show tonight. If you're hanging out with me, this is what we're doing. I'm teaching you actual trading strategies that I use to win, to profit. ROI, baby. Okay. Here we go. We're set. So this looks like a good possible upcoming trade. What do I want to do to make sure? I need to find the zones. Now, we didn't go over this Friday. I just wanted to explain how it is, how it can be used in general. But I didn't go over what else I do before I place an actual trade. I think I might have a little bit, but I just know I didn't explain zones. Okay, so first thing I can do is I am going to get rid of my MACD and my rune. This is also what I'm about to show you guys is also fits in with the other strategy that I was going to show you guys today. So this is the perfect time to go over this. So you're going to learn zone. Super important to learn zone. I'm going out in the 3 hour, okay? You know, if I wanted to, I could go out further, but to me, the 3 hour shows plenty of information. I want to get, maybe 3 to 4 to 5 months again. Usually I'm dealing with scalping, and that's typically in Forex. So it's a little bit different. This is crypto. So again, it's a little bit different. When I trade crypto, I watch what Bitcoin does at the same time, because Bitcoin is essentially going to be what helps my trade. And I also find the zones on Bitcoin. So then I have powerful, what I call super bounces, because if you have Bitcoin in a support zone, let's say, and you have the Crow Perp in a support zone, that bad boy is going to take off. That's the expectance. So that's how I usually set up my trade for a super bounce. That's what I call them anyway. And they make super profit, let me tell you. Okay. Let's find where are our most important zones. Okay. We're looking at Crow Perp. We have what's a possibility to be. We already said that, okay, we've got kind of a setup happening maybe in the hour, but I'm in the 3 hour right now because we're going to find zones. So usually we look for support and resistance areas that have multiple important touches, okay? Resistance can be support can be resistance, but we want all of that to be in the zone. And we're going to treat the zone like it has a magnet. The magnet can go away from it, but sometimes it comes back, like a boomerang, but it has kind of a magnet effect where it oscillates, because that's what price does all day long. For you guys that look at charts, this is what price does all day long. So basically, if we can figure out the best areas for swings, then you can win. Money, 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 right? Okay. How do we figure it out? So in something like this, we want to see our points. Where was support? Where was resistance? And we can mark those off. So that's a zone. That's a zone spot. I can tell because it's an all-time high. Boom. Easy. Let's find a zone that's close to where we want to trade. So this to me is a point. That to me is a point. These are two resistance points. If I come actually above here, I can see, I'm sorry, support points. These are support points. Support bottom, resistance top. So if I can see I have support here, support here, support here, and support over here. This is fair enough to me that we're in a zone that we should make note of. There are major zones and there are minor zones. To me, this could possibly be a major zone, depending on how many touches it has. So we're going to show that. We're going to tell ourselves this is a super important area. That's all we have to do. We have to tell ourselves in this area, price reversed. Do you have any idea how important that is? Do you see how many times price reversed in this area? Because that's important too. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You see this up here? There can be an area. The zone has a buffer, so it's not a line. I know we use lines all the time. don't use lines when you're finding the zones. I'm sorry, find the zones with a line, then get rid of the line and put a zone. Put a block. I usually do this when I've done it over in other videos. So in other words, I know that's support resistance. What I'm going to do is I can put a block here. But the reason we can leave a line there if we wanted to is because it's only got one point, which means it's a point of reference. That's it. But I'm going to show you how I put the zone. So great. We've got a zone up there. We know that can be interesting. Now, what I do is to make the difference in the main and the secondary, my main are blue and my secondary I turn into orange or yellow. This way I know when I'm all the way super close like this, when I'm all the way close in the 10-minute, I can see the zones already. I don't have to go out again to see, oh, where were the zones? I already can tell, look, oh, there's my weak zone up there. I'm at the strong zone now. That's the reason why I find them in the back and then move them forward. This strategy works awesome, by the way. And we're not going over indicators yet. I'm just showing you zoning, because you can do just zoning alone, by the way. You can do support and resistance, finding zones, and profit that way. If you know when the market's going to turn, that's what you want, right? So here we go. I think this is a good enough area for a bounce. What proof do I have? The proof I have is we've bounced bull in this area 1, 2, 3, 4. That happened outside the zone, and right now is the 5th. This is a trade. Why? The MACD is set up. Now, normally, I think this would have to be a full, like 110%. This is probably going to be the best way it works out, is if this was an uptrend. Okay. Now, it's not really. We could call that an uptrend. It kind of is. But if you had a really good uptrend, this would absolutely be a buy signal. Now, because it has a little bit of one, it's still a buy signal. But even if it didn't, even if it had a down, which to me it kind of does. See, the bigger one is usually what's more important. So to me, that's kind of a downtrend. But it, again, depends on how you want to look at it. So let's say, for just the sake of argument, that's an uptrend. Great. And it kind of is, actually. That's a perfect trade setup. Boom. We can throw all of our other stuff on top of there because we're at an important zone, right? We're at an important zone where price has bounced around. I can put my indicators on. I can go back into the hour. I want to trade in my one time frame. Now I'm going to show you something secret. Now, this is not something that, of course, I've shown before. The strategy is new in itself. So this is the secret. This is how you trade this. Just because we see price bouncing doesn't mean that it's going to bounce and go way up, right? So what do? We wait. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for candle confirmation. I've never gone over confirmation. Confirmation happens when you get certain candles that tell you. Candles are a big deal. If you're not learning candles, you absolutely should be. You have to. Candles and chart patterns come hand in hand. They help each other. Anyway, and there's a specific candle that I'll teach you guys about later. Zach, if you want to remind me, we're going to learn about the Kangaroo Candle. And basically, it's a candle with a long tail. This seems like a short below him above MACD. Now, wait a minute. So hold on. This one seems like a short. Wait a minute. I thought this one was my long. Are you talking about the one that we're currently on? Above? So if we're above, oh, you're right. I'm sorry, I got him backwards. Damn, Zach, you should probably just help me host at this point. You're absolutely right. Oh, well, that makes it even better, to be honest. Yes, good call. I'm reading things backward. It's hard to do things live and then try to put them up there. Good call again, man. Zach, I'm glad we have you. Okay, so you're right. This is a sell. Yes, you're absolutely right. We're going above the MACD. You're absolutely right. So let me reiterate. We're above the MACD. We're below the 200 EMA. You really are learning. I like it. So then this would be a short. You're absolutely right. this would be a short. And so what we want, yeah, apparently, yeah, you're doing pretty good. I like that you've told me now several things that have worked out. It's hard to do the show live, but I shouldn't make excuses. This is the kind of stuff that I should be finding before I actually show you the trade. So now that we know it's a short. So this is, I might as well repeat it because I gave out I gave this out last time. So I'm just going to give it to you now in case you are writing it down. If we are looking for a buy signal in price, we want to recognize an uptrend or a bull trend. We then want price to be above the 200 EMA, and in the MACD, it has to be lower. That is considered to be a buy signal. Now you can throw the A rune into that so you can see now we got the green down here. So it's possible also that while we're waiting for candle confirmation, we could wait for the Arun to then show us a sell signal, because then again, we have more confirmation. We want as much confirmation as possible to mitigate risk, as much as possible. So this to me likes it could be an eligible trade. So now here is the secret. Here's the secret that I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to get rid of you. This could be debated, uptrend, downtrend. It's kind of in a middle area. But what's more important is that we have price contained in the zone. That means we expect a breakout in the zone somewhere. Well, the way the zone is designed so far is we have gotten a lot of shots up. So we're still expecting up, but we can place the trade short if we get confirmation. So now normally what I would do for this kind, if I found this, just like we found it now, I'm in the hour, the MACD is above, price is below, that's supposed to be a sell signal. Well, I said that this looks more like a downtrend to me. So this is actually even more of a time to trade. Perfect. What are we looking for then? What do we want? Okay. These boxes, these zones that you make, these zones are kind of up to interpretation. Okay. They're, of course, not going to be perfect. You're not going to look at a zone and go, oh, these are perfect lines. So you're going to build that zone just the best you can. Use support and resistance areas to kind of just give you multiple touches inside. And you know what I mean? You just kind of, because you're making it yourself. It's not like the market has that zone. You can use the VPVR to help you with zones. But anyway, you want to then recognize at least the important zone. We're in an important zone. Normally, price would tell me here that this plans on being an upshot. Now, that's only because of the strategy. But because we're in a zone, we can trade that either way, just like a breakout. That's what's nice. I can't find any longs in the current market based on your rules. Oh, the long is the other one. Oh, you mean currently right now. You mean as you're searching. No, that's cool. But if you do find one, we can go over it. But now I see what you're saying. Gotcha. No, excellent. You can also use the RSI in this strategy. I don't. You can, though. Indicators do help. But remember, an indicator is giving you information after it's already happened. So remember, we want to try to predict instead of using perfect information in the indicator, because then we're already behind. So we want to match up. That's where going in the 5-minute, 30-minute, 30-minute, hour back and forth to see what might be coming. Got me? Okay. So we're going to say this to me looks like a short. It's got everything built up for it, but we're not placing the order. So this is what we want. Now let's say price starts to fall. I'm going to have to make this up just to give you an example. Okay, so let's say this happens. So let's say we fall a little bit. Okay, we're still in the zone. We come up and we start going down. This is what we wanted. We wanted this to be a short. Why? Because we had all of that other confirmation with the MACD and stuff. The A-Rone and MACD strategy told us that a possible short is brewing. Perfect. We get to the bottom of the zone you make. Okay, now this is very important. How I'm gonna explain this. There are gonna be all kinds of candles. I don't think there's a way for me to make candles. I really wish I could. There probably is. So we're gonna just line these up. we're going to line these up and I'm going to color them, and we're just going to go over examples just to give you an idea of what I could possibly be talking about. Okay, so Crow is hidden bear diverse, but I don't. No, you don't trade on RSI. I do trade on RSI, just not all the time. It depends on what strategy I'm messing with. You know what I mean? I do trade on RSI. The only thing I don't use is the Fibonacci. I don't like the Fibonacci. There's just too much room for interpretation. But anyway, let me go over this. So let's say we have these candles forming outside of our zone. This is what's important. We want the zone to be, you've done breakouts before. I know you have. So let's say, boom, we've found a breakout. And of course, you can put an alarm at the bottom of your pricing to let you know. Now, let's develop some real quick candles. So there's one. There's two. There's three. And there is 4. Now, 4 is going to be the important one that I want you to remember. Okay, we're going to make 4 green. And the rest of these can actually be red. Now, this is the important confirmation stage. This is the reason why you should wait, because waiting is going to give you a chance to jump on the trend. Okay, and that's super important, because I know from if you remember Friday, we want to jump on when the trend is going. Now, let's say we get this candle set up while we're watching it. Remember, we're on the hour. We want to trade it on the hour. So the first thing we get a breakout from the zone. Okay, we get a breakout from the zone. Perfect. We need, oh, and I'm sorry, I did this opposite. We need, see, look at me. I'm doing things backwards today because this is a short. You know what? We're going to leave that a red one because that one. Okay, so let's say we're bouncing around the outside of the zone like we would a breakout. Now, this, of course, isn't an official breakout because it's not contained in a pattern. That's what we use the zone for. This zone is an important area. So, great. So the first thing we need to consider to go into the market is we need a candle red, because it's a short. We need a candle red that closes at the bottom and starts a new candle here. If we don't get a closed candle, we don't go into the trade, because that means that price could possibly fall back into the zone. Now, what you can do is then wait until it happens again. So you can then wait for price to bounce around your important zone to see where it's going to possibly break out of, and then trade it like that. So let's look at the opposite. Let's say this was, of course, a bull one instead of a bear one. Let's see what that would look like. And it's pretty much just the opposite. Okay, so we want, at this point, we want that. We want, something down here. That can also be red, maybe a little bit bigger. Okay, and then let's say we get a green here. And then let's say we get a green that goes all the way out. This is something else that's important. The base of the candle's center width should not be in the zone. That means it doesn't count. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I should explain this. I'm sorry. You're gonna do this on a low time frame. So we're in the hour. I do this on the 10 and 5. That's where I'm looking for the actual candles. Okay, so make sure you get that down. Make sure you put that down. When you're looking for these zone breaks, you want to find these candles in lower time frames. Make sure you get that in your notes. I'm sure you're getting some notes in, because As so long as the width of the candle is inside the zone, it is not a strong enough move. You want to wait until you have no width of the candle inside, okay? And then you know, okay, this could possibly be a trade because look, it's not. Well, if the next area starts to go up, so long as you have everything else, the MACD, let's say you're using RSI, whatever, so long as you have everything else, you can enter the trade. That's the whole strategy. You find these zones, and you can use the zones in all the other strategies, but the zones should be something, actually, the zones should be something you focus on first. The zones are probably the most important thing. Because remember, I always say that support and resistance is extremely important. It's the most important thing to me. Okay? Support and resistance. So if we know that support and resistance is super important, when we find these zones, we know that they're important and we can bounce around inside these areas to watch for breakouts. Mac, do you talk about and then look at the candle in the 10-minute? Yes. So then, for example, we're going to go down to the 10. Now, this hasn't broken out, of course. So I'm going down to the 10. Now, of course, we're nowhere near breaking out of my zone yet. See how we're here. We would need to be all the way down here. But yes, you can get in close on a lower time frame and you wait to see the close. So you know what I mean? Let's say let's use it here. Let me see if I can show. Hold on. I'll shrink the zone so I can show you what I mean. So I'm going to shrink the zone. Where's the trade? Okay, great. So now I'm going to go back into the 10. So do you see how we're at the zone top? In the 10 now, what I would wait for is I would wait for what I just went over with the candles, but they have to happen above the zone. And when you see that close at the top, you know that there's a strong enough move. Because let me tell you, fake outs happen more than breakouts. Now, again, this is not specifically a pattern break, but fake outs happen more than breakouts. So the reason you wait for that is because there's another trade that I'm going to kind of incorporate with this that is called the last kiss. That's actually the name of the trade. But what happens is price comes above. Okay, so you have like your zone break, but then you don't trade it until price falls back down and kisses the zone. That's where you can open your trade. So long as you see candles in the green, then eventually moving up your way. Does that make sense? Because then you're getting a zone bounce. Now that's called the last kiss, but you don't need to use that. If you have candles that are plowing through one after the other, you can place your trade so long as you have an end closing. But you can do both. These are both tradable. The one I just showed you where price falls back down to the zone is called a last kiss trade. And the other one where the candle stops at the top or bottom and creates a new candle with the top being closed. I don't know if that has a name, but that is those are both strategies that you can use with the zone. So the reason that I'm showing you the zone is because this is also where I use and find reversal points. Let's find reversal points. And then this is going to be probably the last part. So let's see how I find reversal points. So now that you learn that, finding zones, we're going to go over real quick. I'm going to show you because crypto has a very specific type of charting. So I'm going to show you, I am going to go over Forex because Forex has all kinds of different charting. Forex gets kind of crazy. You've got charts that make all kinds of different moves, and that's why they're fun to chart. But we're going to just go over this right now. I'm going to kill that and kill that. So you can get an idea of what I'm talking about and what I'm looking for when I do zones. If I go to some of these, my actual trades, do you see this right here? This is a zone trade. I got this in big win today. Okay. So I had, and I'll show you that I almost entered this trade and I did not. So do you see sometimes you want to wait after it gets out of the zone? This could have been a last kiss bounce, and I just didn't like the way it was looking. I didn't enter the trade, but I entered a trade here earlier and I won. Maybe it wasn't this mapping, but do you see the zones? That's because I have the zones mapped out. If I go out on the 3 hour, watch this. Do you see the yellow? Do you see the blue? These are my live trades right now for Forex. And these are my zones. So this is my strong zone here. To me, this is a coming weak zone. That's in the yellow. And that's how I mark these areas off. Places that price could possibly go, bounce around, and keep moving. And then that's those little wins we want to get. And you know where it's really useful, Zach? It's really useful on the futures, because I know you trade futures. So it's like the perfect strategy for trading futures is finding these zones and waiting for breakouts. Dude, I made so much in the last couple days trading BTC zones. It's not even funny. I'm talking 4 figures. Let's see. Do I have it mapped out? Yes. So do you see my BTC zones? Okay. So I waited certain times for these falls and drops. I created these zones. When it hits a certain zone, this was a big one that I had. That was this morning. This was a big one as well. It doesn't have to touch the zone. It has to get near the zone. This is really important that you understand that. It doesn't have to be direct contact. It has to be an area. Okay? The way it was once described to me when I looked it up is to think of it as a beer belly. A beer belly, when you push a dude's beer belly like I've got one, you're eventually going to get resistance, but you could also just poke it soft and there's more room, right? Think of these areas as places that can be pushed. So there can be multiple touches, but not in the same spot. That's why we make the zones. The zone becomes an area, and this area is what we have to find. So if you'll look, where did I get my zones for BTC? Okay, this is a resistance point. Here, we had a touch here. We have got resistance there, resistance here. That's a perfect point. Do you see how I have this line here? Do you see all these touches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then again 8, 9 as a resistance. So it was support that became resistance now. That's a perfect area that I can use for zone in the future. So because we came down here, I made these zones down here. I get screwed playing my trades too tight. Well, that's not good. Playing them too tight or too loose, of course, is just not good. But that's where you should be using. If you place your stop losses too tight, that's where you should be placing them past recent support and resistance zones. I think you probably already know that. But for example, if this was a long trade, long position, you place your stop loss after the support zone. See how that's a support zone? You could place it farther, but I would at least place it someplace like here. You put your target either at this zone, or you make this a simple trade and you go to, or you make it a simple trade, a simple scalp, or you can wait until a couple days and you have this trade now. So you see how you can make it up yourself? But you should always be using support and resistance. Always. As your stop losses. Oh, and let me explain to you how you use stop losses in the zone. Aha, hi ho ho. Wait a second, let me show you. Okay. Beautiful. Let's look at this real quick because actually I had a lot of success with this last night. Do you see this right here? I'm not sure if we're in the right time frame. Yeah, we're not. Because I think I did it in the hour. I know there was a section in here where there was a close on the top, and then I sat in the trade for a while. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. So do you see how I made this zone here? We touched the zone. We bounced around the zone. And when the zone finally looks like it has strength to get out like this, it doesn't have to always be like perfect, but it should be kind of uniform. But this to me was a signal of strength. So I put in order, I'm probably going to say something like here. Where do I place my stop loss? The stop loss gets placed halfway between the zone that you just exited. One more time. Your stop loss, after you figure out your zone and you bust out of your zone, the stop loss gets placed halfway inside of the recent zone that you just went out of. So let's say I placed an order here. This is my zone, halfway. That's going to be your stop loss, because then you know if it gets back down here, it's bouncing around in the inside. It's not going to work. But this could have also taken a small dive here. This could have went back down, bounced off more, could even bounce off a support. But do you see how then it entered a different area? So you'll see that I'm turned this up here into a different zone. Get out of here. This became a different zone. But you can use all of these zones, all of these important areas to help you make decisions. And I recommend using it for all types of trades. It's just a way that you can also keep track of where a price has been, where it might go to. You can use the zones as specific trading areas, as exits. So if I make this trade right here, okay, I put the stop loss into halfway through the zone that I just left. Okay. What is this, BTC? Maybe I could even trade it if it works out. Okay, halfway in between the zone area that I just left. Once I had confirmation, which would have been from one of these candles, let's see if any of them closed up top. So none of them closed up top specifically. But again, you can use the strength of what you see based on the candles. Are the candles showing strength in their green candles? Because then that's kind of a way that you know that price is getting forced up higher. That's why I like to use the close top, so you know for sure that you have strength. And you know if you have strength, you place the order. But right here, this would be, let's just say we placed it now. We would place it here. Okay, that's not specific, but just showing you place it now. You would put your stop loss there, and then you could decide whether you want to use this other zone, this other resistance point. See this? Another resistance point. You can decide to use that as your exit, or you can use actually you can use several areas here, as you can see. You get to choose your level of risk. You could use this as an exit line. See the line? Because it has so many touches. This is a really strong area, it looks like. Actually, I should probably put that, because actually this is a pretty strong zone there. We're going to make that blue. I don't like that shade of blue. That's cool. So you could make the trade here. And then what do you always want? You always want, when trading, you want at least 1 point times, at the very minimum, just so you know, you always want a 1-to-1 trade. So that means, like if this is down here, the absolute minimum, if this is 3.69%, you want to match that. So see 3.65, that's called a 1-to-1. Do you see the ratio? 0.99. So that's a 1 ratio. 1 win, 1 loss. It's the same amount. What you want at absolute minimum is a 1.5. You only want to trade a 1-to-1 if you're really feeling it. You know what I mean? You want more wins versus your losses. No, I'm sorry. You want, in your wins, you want more profit. Does that make sense? So you want 50% wins, but you want those wins to be better, so you profit at the end of the day. Got me? So you see how this says 1.65? So this is over a 1.5 times. That's a great trade. That's actually probably a good looking trade. Honestly, let's see. See, I'm not bouncing off the zone. I'm in the middle of the zone. So no, I don't love this trade. Not going to do it. But let's just throw the templates on there. Let's see what we got out of it. Let's go. We're on the hour, so that's cool. We are below, and look at this. Price is going, I'm sorry, the MACD is going above. MACD is going above, so this could be possibly a short, because we're below the 200 EMA and above the 0 line up here. So this could be a possible short. And you know what? Since we know that, watch this. I don't know if this is how the trade is going to work. Watch what I do. I'm going to tell myself, oh, that looks like a downtrend, or that looks like a sell. Because when we're talking about the specific strategy, the Arun and MACD, to me, that looks like a sell. But we just bounced off below it, so maybe it's a buy. Let's draw some lines. If I know price bounced off of here, this support area, I know that it might now bounce up there with the strength, but because it's showing sell, it might go back down. So this specifically, this is what I would do, is I would wait to see. I would put an alarm, we'll say there. If price gets up there, guess what I have now? I have a possibility for a reversal because I know that the MACD and, well, not the Arun, but I know that the MACD on the hour is telling me, or at least, our strategy is telling me it's a sell. Maybe it still is. It just hasn't arrived yet. You see what I'm saying? Let's go on the 30 and let's see what it looks like. So you see that's already crossed above, which means that could be coming back down. So the MACD is above, price is below that still, which still means this could have strength enough. Look what just happened here. We also just had a reverse signal. So do you see how we can use all of this info to base our trade? So what would be the perfect trade? Let me show you what would be the perfect trade for this. Okay. Everything says sell, right? That's my strategy. Am I buy or sell? Look, this just showed up reverse. Now, of course, I'm in the half an hour, but I'll accept it. I usually want to trade in one of these, hour and half an hour. But if half an hour is showing me in stuff I'm interested in, great, let's do it. I'll do the half an hour. It's not my main, but I'll do it. Why not? I will wait to see where price goes. So I'm setting 2 alarms. Okay? I set an alarm above the zone that we just broke out of and below the zone that I think we might get to. So if the next time this has a bounce, I might be able to trade it. That's what my alarms were just going over for another thing. I bet you that was a trade opportunity, and we could have sorted that out. Best setting alarms on MACD alert to me was MACD crosses over the down signal. So, okay. So I specifically don't do, there's a reason. I have no problem with you saying that you put alarms on the MACD crossing. That's great. If that works for you. To me, price is king. Price to me and where price is matters 10 times more than what the MACD is showing me. That's why my alarms are specifically on price, because I'm more concerned about where price is than I am the crossing over. So you got me. So this is why I don't set alarms in those areas for the crossing signals. I have before, but I found more success by waiting for the actual price to get to a location that I want instead. Then I can look to my MACD and see, oh, is it crossing? Or is it getting close to crossing? What if it's crossing on a lower time frame? Do you see what I'm saying? But I don't use the MACD as my primary. No. Price is king. You get taught that. In everything I read, you get taught price is the most important thing. Imagine that you don't have the indicators. That's how I like to think of it. How did guys in the 50s and 60s, how did they trade? How were they successful? They didn't have indicators. They didn't have computers. So what were they doing to be successful? And that's why I've learned to trade with the indicators after. That's why the MACD alarms aren't important to me. Price alarms are important to me. Now, that's just for me. Dude, if you set the alarms on the MACD crossing and it works out for you, beautiful. But price works for me. That's why I set the alarms in price important areas. So this would to me would be a perfect setup right now. This is like a real trade. This could absolutely be a real trade. Let me go back to my hour. We're developing above. Everything said short, right? Where's my EMAs? We're below in EMA. We're above. We're going to be above in MACD. We're heading that way. So to me, this is a sell order. Now, we want to be on a downtrend too. Locally, that's good enough of a downtrend to me. So what I would do is because we're in the middle. If we were at the bottom, things would be different. But since we're in the middle between two zones, this is not a smart place to trade. You should only be trying to trade when using the strategy on the zone, right after it leaves the zone. You don't want to trade in the middle because honestly, we have no idea. Price could fall back one way or another. We're not 100% sure. So we are sure once the train leaves the station of a zone, that's when we can enter the trade. I hope that explained that a lot better. Yes. I am going to actually go through some of my other holdings. I'm going to do my live trading. Let's actually take a look because I know that you've at least been interested in Forex. So this is my Forex list, okay, on the right. Do you see that? So it's one currency matched with the other. So AUD CAD, these are all two currencies at once. BTC MACD cross. Let's take a look. You know I'm always down to look at a good trade. Actually, where's my perps section? I've got a section for perps. So we might do a MACD cross. Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. So exactly, dude. If this turns out to be a cross, which if we go down to our 30-minute, look, it's been crossed multiple times. That's more of our indication right there that it's more than likely going to happen. That's how we predict. That's how we predict sooner, is we see what we have that can kind of show us what might happen. That's what I'm doing all day. That's why I use these zones, because these zones that we bounce in and out of are super, super useful. Super useful when it comes to finding where reversals are. Because, dude, I trade reversals all day. All day, I love trading reversals. Okay, so now, guess what we're going to do? I just showed you how I would set up. I guess that would be kind of strategy number 2. That's kind of mixed with strategy number 1, the zoning. You can trade with zoning alone, but the MACD and the A-Room can, of course, help you. The zoning is more of an overall thing. Would you wait for it to fall below your skinny zone before entering the trade? So, okay, so no. So then I would wait to see what happens in that area. I don't have a plan for that area. What I'm thinking is that it's going to bounce. So this is what I'm thinking. You ready? This. You can pre-plan this stuff, but remember, you always prepare. If you're trading perps, you can prepare for a short. You can prepare for a long. You prepare for both. So are you saying, am I expecting a short? No. I want a bounce. I want it to turn into a long. Which, as you can see, if the candles move along, so will the MACD, so will the A-Rune. We might have, we might be in a new situation. This 200 EMA, I mean, of course, it's probably not possible in this one, but that 200 EMA might creep and change the dynamic of the strategy. So we have to wait. So let's see. This is what I would expect, just from how it's moving right now. So we bounce around this zone, important area. We finally fell out of the zone. Now, you could have traded this right there. And do you see where you would be now in the trade? So you could have traded this as a short right here where the red closes. And look, you would have held for this long. You made it to the next zone. You sell. Boom, boom, boom. That's a perfect example. That's exactly what you want. You see that? This is a breakout. You place the order. You put your stop loss in the middle. You wait for price to get to another zone, and you sell it. That's a scalp, baby. So as you can see, that's what a good scalp would look like. So this, of course, hit that zone again, back up in here. And so here is what I'm thinking we will see. I am hoping that we see more of a bounce in this zone, in this skinny zone. I want to bounce, okay? Because if I see a bounce, when I see that last kiss that I was talking about, if this gets back down to the zone after it crawls out of it, Okay, this is a pretty skinny zone. So there's a lot of interpretation, honestly. So what I would want to see is I want price to get back down to the zone. The alarm would go off for me. And then I would watch. That's all I'm doing is watching and waiting to see if the trade presents itself as a good trade. And what do we want from that? We want then a closed top candle. In this case, it would be a long. Do you have to trade it as a long? No. You can wait to see if it falls below, because then guess what? Then you've got all this down here that you can use. This is why, as you already know, this is why we wait to see what happens in both. We can have a plan, but when plans change, you can place an order in the opposite direction. It depends on when it gets down here, what does the MACD show me? Where's my 200 EMA? Where does price look like it's heading? Where is price on the lower time frames? Look at how close it's getting to the 200 EMA. Dude, this could absolutely turn into this. And price, on the other hand, might go right above it for all I know. And guess what? Then the MAC, look, is going to fall possibly below. Now we've got our buy trade, right? Now we've got a buy signal. Oh, and look what's going to happen. It bounces off of a zone. That's a buy. Do you see how we want to mix all this stuff together? We want to mix all this info together because all trading is minimizing risk. All we're looking for is minimize risk, minimize risk, minimize risk. That's all we care about when we're trading. How much risk can I take out of the trade so that it looks like it's going to be a win? Got me? Now, I know we're over an hour in, but I still haven't gone over the actual second strategy. This one's not complicated, but I will go over it. If anybody has any questions, you've been asking great questions, Zach, and thank you for helping me. I did screw up a few times. You're paying attention so decent, man. That's awesome because that actually does help me. I don't want to give out wrong stuff. And, you've already found a couple mistakes that I've made. But, this isn't the easiest thing, but I'm glad I have help. That's what the point I'm trying to make. Thank you. My backup. So, the alarms are set on that. If the alarms go off for this while we're still going, we can totally go over this trade and see if it's a sensible trade or see when it would be a sensible trade. You don't slow me down. You help me out a lot. Anybody that I like to have the back and forth. To me, it makes me feel more in the, more social. So it's like easier. I'm not just talking to a computer because remember, I've got nothing. It's just me. So it's easier when I know I have the back and forth so I can explain things better. And especially, I like answering your questions. So you're not slowing me down. And if you are slowing me down, it's to help you out. And I do this whole stupid thing to help you guys out anyway. This ain't for me. It's for you. So, great. So now we've got that set up. I want to go over what it looks like on something like Forex, because again, you guys are used to crypto, and I don't know if you've noticed this. Watch this. I'm gonna go over this real quick. This is why it stinks, and I'm sure Zach, you may have already noticed this too, because I do know that you may have checked out the. I know you might have checked out the actual trading strategy, blah blah blah. But watch this. Watch this. You ready? Watch what happens. This is why it's like trading crypto is like, oh, are you kidding me, man? Watch. Okay. Let's get rid of my A rune. Okay. Okay, are you ready? Now, are you watching? Are you watching this? Let's go through the market that I have saved. So this is what? I don't know how many is on here. KuCoin futures. So there's 44 crypto on here. Okay, just on this futures. Now this is specifically the trading the perp. So this is specifically trading futures. This is, you want to trade crypto, right? Watch this. The MACD is below. The 1-inch EMA is below. The MACD is below. The 200 EMA is below. The MACD is below. The 200 EMA is below. The MACD is below. The 200 EMA is below. The MACD is below. The 200 EMA is below. The MACD is below. The 200 EMA is below. The MACD is below. The 200 EMA is below. The MACD is below. The 200 EMA is below. You ready? I got a few more, just in case you don't believe me. The MACD is low. So is EMA. The MACD is above. Ah. So the reason that I showed that is because 9 times out of 10, like 90%, when I'm going through the market to see what to trade on crypto, they're all doing the same thing. This is why I know Bitcoin and your altcoins follow Bitcoin, because let's look at what Bitcoin's doing. Do you see this right here, what Bitcoin's doing? Okay, it's above now, which means all of this stuff should be heading above, but this is my proof that all of these alts follow Bitcoin. Price is below, and look, we're just getting above on the MACD, right? Let's see if we can find others. Nope, below, below. Above, below. So now we know we have a chance at a trade. Now we can set everything up. So that's the first one that we found, maybe the second one that we found out of what? 15, 20? Let's keep going. Above, below. Now what you're going to notice is the whole market is going to change and do what Bitcoin is doing. And you see, that's just, to me, it kind of stinks. That's why it's hard to always want to trade the futures. That's why it's easier for me to trade Forex and stocks, because they're doing different things. Let's keep going. Now you're going to see that the MACD and price on almost all of these look exactly the same. So now we're above, below. Look, below, 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 below. Do you see my point? Below, 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 above, above, below, below. So what ends up happening is Bitcoin controls everything, as you know. Bitcoin controls the movement, right? And then all the alts follow. That's why it's so difficult to find what you want perfectly, because they're all kind of the same. In other words, if you can trade one, you can trade them all. Or if you can't trade one, then you can't trade them all. You have to find the specific points. You know what I mean? Luna's going crazy. Oh, do you see how I have a purple flag next to my pricing? So my flag system is purple is extremely important. Orange means that I have an alarm. Green means I'm actively trading it. And red means it's something I need to look at. So I have this setup. So let's see. Luna, you're saying is going crazy? Let's, just because you're mentioning it, let's, first of all, let's chart it. Okay, we're just going to chart where we're at. We're in the hour, so let's go out to the 3. Remember, above, like way below, above? Yeah, it's definitely reaching up there. So let's see what kind of opportunity. See, now the only problem is the price on Luna is now matching the 200 EMA. I don't like to open a trade if price is on the line. And I also won't open a trade if price is on the line on the histogram, on the 0 line. So you don't have to do it that way. But to me, that means that there's no strength. To me, that means that we have to reset. Because I like to wait until price gets off of those lines. Then it can turn into a trade. So if price keeps going here above, then, sadly though, it looks like it's going to turn into what? Above. What are you using? You're in the 3? Oh, so what? Well, is it better as we get sooner? So on the 1, it's above too. On the 30, it's above. 1 hour. Above. 3 hour. Matched and above. So if price falls from the 3 hour here, then yes, that turns into a potential. But when you have a matched above, and below, that's a no-no. That's usually when they don't trade. See what I'm saying? So, yeah, there you go. But you could find now the zones if you wanted to. Let's find some zones. Let's do it live. Gotcha. Has a lot of strength. So it is pushing up. Let's look at the zones. Okay. So let's go into the 3 hour and let's find some zones. Some zones that we could use now. And remember, when we're trading futures, we have to trade Bitcoin, or at least we have to look at Bitcoin. Now, I have other screens in here. I have a screen here, I have a screen here, and I have a screen here. Okay. So, what I usually do is I keep Bitcoin on one screen and what I'm trading on the other. This way, I can watch to see movements of Bitcoin because I know usually the alt is going to somehow match it. So, let's find these zones for this to be something to trade. So, I like that as a great support zone. Jealous of what? This looks like a great zone. Oh yeah, that's definitely a zone. Look at this area over here. That's a nice touch. What are you jealous of? This I don't like as a zone. Maybe. You know what? We're going to put something thin. Oh, multi-screens. Yeah, man. I know you said, by the way, that you're using a monitor, or I'm sorry, that you're using a laptop. I don't know if you knew this, but they make um, screen attachments for your laptop. So if you just have the one screen, you can open this thing up, and now you've got three, and it costs like 250, maybe 300. If you want to know more about that, just ask me. I'll send you the links. But they have things for the laptop where you can turn your one screen on the laptop into three. Because remember, I own a computer business too, so I know all about all the little tricks. So if you want multi screens on your laptop, you absolutely can. Plus, you know, you can hardwire a regular monitor to it so long as you have an HDMI spot. Yeah, man. Let me tell you, it really is. It really is. Give me actually give me 2 seconds because it's so this is just an example because there's a bunch of them. So here, I'm just gonna send you what would be the example. So there you go. That's an example. Check your messages. That's an example of what I'm talking about. And basically, all you have to do is you can go to Amazon or whatever and type in laptop multi-screen, and you can have multiple screens right on your laptop. And let me tell you, I wouldn't be able to live without multiple screens. I wouldn't be able to trade. I'm dead serious. When I trade on my phone, it's super difficult, and I have to go back and forth. So I don't make a lot of trades on my phone. I need to trade them on the computer because I have my screens and I can watch multiple things. Um, yeah. So let's keep looking at Luna. That's a nice area. I don't like anything up here. This doesn't look too great. We can give this... Build out the warehouse with multiple monitors for my iMac. Yeah, there you go. Multiple monitors is the way to go, man. It's the way to go. I'm going to build this as a not overly important zone just because it's kind of big, but we can use it. So there you go. This is my setup. This is what, if I were to trade with the zones and trade with the MACD and also trade with the A-Rune, if I were to trade all of that, this is kind of what it would look like at the moment. I would have all of these. These are zones. These are like one-off areas I can use later on maybe. But this gives me access. Plus what we have here is we have, on top of everything else, is patterns. Now remember, you want to also use patterns with the zones because you're going to get extra areas, extra hits, extra spots where a breakout in the zone could also turn into a breakout in the pattern. So you want to layer this stuff on top and then, you know, trade it accordingly. So let's see what it looks like on Luna. Does Luna look like a, let me get on the hour. Does Luna look, so Luna is about to touch a resistance area, resistance zone. So now what I want it to do though is I want it to go inside, okay? That's what I really want it to do. Then based on our recent history, okay, do you see how it's doing this guy, the oscillating? I'm expecting it to bust out back out of it bear. So this is what I want it to do based on recent history. So we've got a bounce here, bounce here. What I want then is something along the lines of this. Okay? Because I know if it's going to keep doing this, right? So if it breaks above, then my system is broken. But I'm at least going to put this up as something of a possibility. If we break through into the zone here, then what I'll do is I'll come down to the 10-minute. I'll wait until we get back out. When we get back out, I'll find the short candle that's going to close flat, okay, because that's important. And if it looks like everything else is matching up, the MACD and all that, you trade it, man. But remember, the MACD and all that, you do want to trade on the hour. You want to make sure that the hour, because you're still overall trading on the hour, you're looking for that candle confirmation on the lower time frame. You got me? Because if you wait for the candle confirmation on the hour, you might be waiting for a long time. So it depends on how you want to trade, how fast, that kind of thing. Hope that explained a little bit. But there you go. That would be the setup. So I want price to go into this zone here. And then when it comes out, I have the possibility of trading it. Or it can turn into a last kiss trade, and I can trade it from here. So that's all the stuff that we watch for. Now, if it goes for the last kiss trade, if it touches, when it turns around, I also then want to see the candle top where it's flat, or at least as close to the top as possible. You want to see strength in whatever way that you want it to go. Okay, so that could also turn into a real trade. I don't want to set an alarm yet. We can come back to Luna, but let me show you what I do. What I do is I'm going to put a red marker next to it. Actually, since we're working on that now, I'm going to make it more important and put it on purple. This tells me when I'm going throughout the day at what things are important as I'm trading, since I am trading so many different things. If you'll notice, I do the exact same thing with Forex. What's important, what's not, everything gets its own flag. Okay, so the kangaroo tail, I want to make sure I get right, because the kangaroo tail is actually something new that I've learned. I haven't got to use it, but I did want to show it because apparently it has great strength. This is something totally new that I learned not long ago. I've used it once or twice, and where like I've tried to mess with it, but honestly, I've been doing my zone thing, my normal trading, usually most times of the day. But what we want to see, let's see if we can find some. And it's called a kangaroo tail. There's one. So kangaroo tails are supposed to be reversal points. Okay, so what's a kangaroo tail? That's the reversal going bull. I'm sorry, going bear. That is the reversal going bull. So what you want is you want price to drop. For example, you see this right here? Let's check this out, because this is one right here. See how price is falling, falling, falling. So not only see how the kangaroo tail is there, and then we go in the opposite direction. You got me? I haven't worked on this a lot. I have found a few. I have traded like a couple, but this is more of something new that I've actually just learned. And I like learning all kinds of new stuff. But that's a kangaroo tail for reversal, bear. That's a kangaroo tail for reversal, bull. Write those down because apparently they're very strong. And this is how it would look for price. Okay, so that's the bear version. We'll make it red. This is the bull version. Write those down. And as you can see, we already found one. But when you find these are apparently, because I've used them just a little bit, but they're reversal points. So if you want to find these kangaroo tails, they are super helpful. Let's see if we can find any more. This reversal signal, by the way, this kangaroo tail is something I've learned recently because I want to get better at reversals because reversals can make you the most money, the most ROI. So I'm gonna show the reversal thing. We're an hour and a half in, but I am gonna show the reversals and how I find them. But let's see if we can find other kangaroo tails. It needs to have a pretty long tail as compared to the top. So you see how this has a long tail right here? I would not consider that a kangaroo tail. Let's see if we can find any more. Now that could be a possible kangaroo tail. Check that out. There it is. See how you have a tail, but now you see now price is coming up and then it goes back down. That's a signal, and apparently this is like a really good indicator of a reversal. That's why, because I specifically looked up um, reversal signals. I mean, that's what I do is I study this crap all day, right? So I looked up reversal signal, and it was in somebody's book that was like the secret candle to find reversals. And then I discovered it's called a kangaroo tail, and I've been putting it to work. And as you can see, it does show pretty decent. It does show a pretty decent reversal sign. Let's see if we can find any more. There you go. There's one. Oh, there's two. Kind of. But do you see kangaroo tail? Nope, nope. Price comes down and around. And then look, another one. Down and around. So you want to look for these style candles. Apparently you want them to be big and long. You want the tail to be pretty long, and you want the top to be almost like a square. You don't want it to be a rectangle. That's why I said this isn't like a perfect kangaroo tail. This would be considered more of a textbook version right here. Okay, but that's one as well. And do you see the results after it? So clearly it is a pretty good candle that I am going to put as a part of my system. Let's see if we can find any more. We'll go for one more and then we'll show the actual trading system. Hammers. That could be a small type of kangaroo tail. That's not perfect, but look at the results after that one. We couldn't count that because I don't think I would count that a kangaroo tail. These are maybe kangaroo tails. They're not long enough. I would apparently want the tails to be longer, but there you go. That's a perfect reversal there. I think you get the point. That's more of a hammer. We don't count that. Nope. So apparently you're not going to find them all the time, but you can find them a good amount. And finding apparently the tails, there's one. That's one. That's a short tail, but I think I would consider that to be one. See what I'm saying? So there you go. You got shown the kangaroo tails on the AUD USD chart, and they're apparently super helpful. I've never used them. Well, like I said, I'm new to using them, so I've only been using them for a week. It hasn't been something that I've been overly serious about, like finding them, but there you go. I wanted to show them to you because, as you can see, that's kind of one way you could possibly use as another confirmation, which remember, all we're doing is mitigating risk. That's all we're doing when we're looking for trades. Mitigate risk, mitigate risk, mitigate risk, mitigate risk. Take risk away. The more of these confirmations that we have, the better. So that's why I wanted to show you the kangaroo tail. And here we go. This is going to be the last thing for today since we're an hour and 40 minutes in. I don't care if we go to 2 hours. I want to show you reversals. Now, the reversals to me are way kind of like easier than anything else because all we're doing is finding a trend and we're trying to trade the trend area that broke. That's all it is. So it's using some of the other information that we have with zones and stuff. We can use the zone information to help us find these points. So let's go out to 3 hours. Let's just show an example. Let's see. We'll go out even further. Let's go to the 6. Let's kill this, kill this, kill this. So if we wanted to start this new trend here, this would be... No, that's not a good example. This isn't giving me good trends. We're going to go to something else. We're going to go to... So I wouldn't use my reversal technique unless I find absolute trends that I'm happy with. Ones that are parabolic, you know? That show actual strength. There's not really too much in this as well. Again, this strategy, you do want to find strong trends. There we go. So, for example, this is pretty much a strong trend. That's a parabolic trend. This is how I would trade it if you're looking for the reversal points. Okay, so you know you have your trend, right? Let's get rid of the AMA. Let's get rid of the VPVR. This is a possible trade for me coming up, the way it looks. Let's get this line a little bit better looking. Now, what I do typically is, okay, we've got a trend. Okay, we clearly have a strong trend. So what we do is we use it kind of similar to the zones where we wait for price to go on the other side of the trend. After price goes onto the other side of the trend, we wait for candle confirmation that it's possibly headed in the other direction. Again, that's what I wanted to find the signal for, because I'm always looking for more things that help me find a reversal point. The kangaroo tails was a candle that really helps. But on this, to me, we broke through. So that means a reversal point could be here. I would have probably placed the trade somewhere here. So let's do that. Let's see what that would look like. So I'd probably place it somewhere like there because, again, that's candle confirmation to me of a strong downtrend coming, reversal point. Now, of course, it doesn't work out immediately. That's why we have stop losses. Now, the stop loss, of course, would just go right above our current resistance or support point. In this case, since it's a short, here's our resistance point. And we go just right above that, because then we know if we hit that line again, we're out. Now let's see what happens. I actually don't know what the rest of this looks like. This might not be a good trade at all. Let's go out. Okay. So we have the trade there. Now, normally, I would have a targets set up, but I just wanted to show it's very basic. Find a trend, wait until the trend breaks, wait for confirmation that it looks like it's headed in the other direction. I'm going to start trying to find those kangaroo tails or similar candles like it, because that's telling me the market may be going in the opposite direction. So for me, just to look at this trade now, this looks like a nice area right here. See all how price is all along this area in different resistance and support levels here. Look. So there we go. And there's even some coming up here. So look, this would have been perfect, man. Look at that. Price would have gotten up here. That would have ended our trade. That would have been a good trade. So that is the setup. You find a strong trend, you wait till the trend breaks, and you put your stop loss right above the trend break. Okay? Let's find another one. There are just so many different ways to trade. Let's actually try a different pairing. Let's go out in the day. So here we go. Now, this is a really long trend. So check this out. This is on the day. We'll go down to the 6. Damn, can I not even capture it in the 6? I guess we have to capture in the day. All right. So here we go. Nice long trend. Now, this trend is a long trend. This trend is this is like a couple months? No, a couple years. So remember, we're on the day. This might not be the best example. Let's actually try something else. That's just too long. Let's go down to the 3. Here we go. So this would be a perfect example. We have an area here. Okay, that's a fair spot. All right. We have a strong trend. We know we do. It has multiple touches. Great. We wait until the trend breaks. Boom, the trend broke. Great. We can set an alarm up at that area. We wait to see a closed red candle. Do you see it right there? That's kind of good enough. And look, that's kind of a kangaroo tail. Look, price goes up from that kangaroo tail a little bit. But anyway, this would be, I would feel comfortable placing the trade here. So I don't know if this works out. I think it does. It probably would. We're going to see where our resistance point is. That looks like our resistance point. So this is a bigger stop loss than usual. This stop loss goes all the way up to 2.27. So we have to match that with a lot of profit. So let's see how far down we can go with this, or let's see another area that we can find. If we're going to take the trade there, this looks like an important spot here. That looks like a really nice support area. So we can aim for that. And of course, as you can see, we already get the trade. But I don't know if that's actually a good trade or not. Because, look, see, so the stop loss is too big. So this would have not been a trade that I would have taken. You see that? That's how I do. That's how I choose. I set everything up. If everything doesn't look as perfect as possible, I don't take it. To me, I would have feared that we would have bounced off of this area here. I would have feared that we would have bounced off of this to go back up. So I would have had my take profit here, and of course my stop loss is well above our last resistance point. So for me, I would have not have taken this trade. But as you can see, it would have worked out if you held it for longer. It all depends on your level of risk. I would have not taken that, but you could have, and depending on where you wanted to get out, because look, that's another point. Check that out. You could have absolutely waited to your next support point because it's a short, and absolutely that would have been a winner. But because of how I trade, I wouldn't have traded it. All right, man. We got in an hour and 45 minutes. I know, Zach, you were here probably 95% of the time. Always appreciate you, man. Thanks for helping me out earlier, too, when I was showing kind of the wrong thing, because I don't want to give out the wrong thing. So, by the way, for anybody else that's watching it, for that strategy that we had earlier, the A-Rune and the MACD, for a buy signal, you have to have an uptrend. At least you want an uptrend. You then want price to be above the 200 EMA. For me, that was my white line, okay? That's my 200 EMA, the white line. I made it nice and bright white so I know where it is. That's why I made it nice and white bright. Then, after price at that point is above the 200 EMA, you want the MACD to be below. And it's the opposite when you're looking for a sell or when you find a sell. So when a sell, you want to recognize a downtrend, because remember, with the strategy, you want to jump on the trend because the trend is your friend. The trend is always going to be more powerful than a reversal. No, I'm sorry, not more powerful. The trend is always going to be more relevant than a reversal. You're going to find way more long trends than you are reversal points. Do you know what I mean? That's why we're trying to trade with the trend, because reversal points happen in certain spots, but the trend happens for a while. So why not jump into some of that trend, ride a little bit of the wave to make profit? That's the strategy. This one specifically. This is not the reversal strategy where you were looking for reversals from the break of a trend. This is specifically a MACD and A-Rune power strategy. For the downtrend sell signal, you want to be on a downtrend. Then you want the 200 EMA to be below. You want price to be below, like it is right here, the 200 EMA, and you want the MACD to then be above. And that would be considered to be how you start to find a good solid trade. Okay, and then you can add in the A rune to get on top of that. So there you go. That's all kinds of info. That's a whole bunch of secrets and tips. Um, yeah, that kangaroo tail thing I just learned about not long ago, maybe like a week and a half ago. I read about it, so then I got some good info on it, and I read even more about it, like how to trade it. So not just because you find it means that it's a reversal. There's certain ways you can trade it, but it's basically use your support and resistance for stop losses and stuff like that. But you can find these reversals after you find the damn reversal. Like this could be a reversal right here. Look at this. Look, 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 look. This is a possibility for being a reversal. So check it out. Check it out. We're going to go into the 3 hour. We are breaking out of this zone. This was an important zone. It's in blue. I know that because I made it blue. We have another zone down here. Look at this. Check it out. So what do I have? My MACD. I do not think the MACD. No. So this is not above. Let's see on the hour. So this is not above, and this is below, but because the MACD isn't above, this would not be like a solid, like a perfect MACD rune trade. But that doesn't mean it can't be powerful with our other things that we learned today. Okay, just because one doesn't work doesn't mean that another might work. So I already know this is out. That strategy's out. Let's see what else we got. Well, we can also use the strategy that I just talked about, okay, the zone strategy. So we're busted out of zone. Look, this is how price moved. Do you see how I had an alarm set, hoping that price went back out, but it didn't? So now we've developed this. So this is what I want to see, because if I'm not getting anything from my indicators, I'm hoping on something like this turns into a last kiss that goes down to our next zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an alarm here. That's going to tell me if we get back to the zone. I'm going to erase the other one. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to erase the other alarm. I don't need it. But there you go. This is another example right now. Now I can go down to my 30-minute and my 5 to see if the MACD might be different. Now the MACD on the 5, let's go to the 10. So it's starting to go up, meaning if I want to use that in the future, I can. It's possible. I'm going to leave it open to, to how how aggressive you want to be. If you're thinking that that's going to be above by the time we get up to this point, that's up to you as a trader. I'm just showing you how I do it. And I'm not sure why, but it looks like price is bouncing back and forth. I don't know what the heck that's about. It's like rocking a little bit. You see that? So anyway, that could be a trade that I might take actually tonight. And then, of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all of this like I do. Look at all this crap. I go through it nonstop. Look. You're going to see tons of lines. Look, I also mark out my reversal points. Below, 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 above. This could be something to trade. So here we go on the euro yen. So look, see how I already have things set up? I already have these alarms. I don't have the zones constructed for this, but since I have price below and I'm above the EMA, what's the price below? I'm above the EMA. That's a sell. So this could be a possible sell. What I would do is I would build out the zones, and this is how I would do it. Build out my zones. Okay, that looks important. Where I'm at now looks kind of important. Let's see if it's important back here. Yes, it is. So again, we want to go further back. Usually I do a 3 hour to check the zones. Yes, this is a zone that was important. Look, all the way back here, this is a zone that's important. Okay, so yeah, that's an important zone. We're going to make that blue. Now this yellow zone that we just hit, this might be a line. That's not overly important. Okay, we're just going to keep it yellow. I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. But as you can see now, we have these zones that we have identified and we can trade between. We have an area here. We got this guy here. That's probably all I like. We do have this zone there. So we can, well, that's not a zone. That's more of just a line. We want it to be a zone, but that's an okay line. Actually, why don't we turn that, because there's a few things in there, and we're gonna make that yellow. So again, the only way you're gonna get used to doing this stuff is if you practice it. Like, that's just legit the only way that you are going to be able to figure out how to run these trades, because they are a little complicated depending on what kind of style you want to trade with. I have found that my reversal strategy, my MACD strategy, and my zone strategy work best for me. I've tried maybe 50 types of strategies, and I've had the most luck with that. How do I know that? First and foremost, I back tested. So what I suggest everybody do that's interested in trading is take any of these things that you're trading. Let's just pick one at random: GP, BP, USD. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the day. Actually, I can do it down here. I can click on all. Do you see all at the bottom? That gives you price throughout its entire life. Okay, so this goes all the way back to 2003. So check this out. What I can do is I turn on the replay up here. Hello? Yeah. I pick a spot. And I start to trade. And I test my strategy. And I test my strategy whenever I'm not looking for price and I'm in my downtime. So say I go through price a whole bunch of times, right? And I go, oh, well, there's no good trades. You know, what else am I going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my head with more information, because the more informed I am about this stuff, the better I'm going to do. So what I do is I watch. I then watch history. So this is called back testing. This is manual back testing. You can also automatically back test based on your strategy. I'm on the month right now. We're going to go down to the hour. Oh, they don't have historical data. So anyway, let's go right here, just to show you. So I'm on the hour. I've got everything set up. I'm going to get a little bit closer. Price is below. MACD is below. Play. And this is it. I'm going to act and treat this as if it's live. This is how I practice. This is how I get better. So look, see how they're both going? MACD above. Oh, price went below. So this could be interesting. So here we go. We have something that might develop. No, now it's back above. Now they're both above. Now price has gotten below, and look, we just had a cross. Guess what this would be? You guessed it. So, well, yeah, you guessed it as if I know you say it. So price is below the 200 EMA and our indicators are above the histogram. We're going to see if this makes sense as a trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my short position, because again, this is a sell signal. So when I get the signal, I'm then going to go out and I'm going to see my zones. I'm going to see what zones make sense. And it looks like we don't have a lot of info in this area. So our zones are going to be, to us, kind of weak. So we've got a solid support. We've got that guy over there. And it looks like we kind of right now have this whole channel as support and resistance. So this is like the most important areas. So this would not be the best zone to trade. So what I can do is I can go out and see if there's a possible reversal. Let's go to the 6. Let's do one of these bad boys. So, nope. This is not the best reversal area either. So this might not be a good trade. This is how we figure it out. I don't like that this isn't a good trade. I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to trade it. If I get that much difficulty with it, and see, I would have lost. See? I would have lost that trade if it was a short, because of how the setup was. All the circles. Yeah, so that's all historic information with financing. As you can see, you hover over it and it tells you that's all financing. And I go on different websites. One of them is called the Auto Chartist, and the Auto Chartist gives you information on whether it's a bull sign, gives you a forecast and numbers. So Forex is great, man. I really enjoy it. As you can see, it's like a charter's dream. Oh, look, see, I've got future zones put up there. Check that out. I've got zones that we're gonna hit soon. But this, as you can see, are all of my this is how I go back and I check to see, is my trade going to work? And I test to see if it wins. And a lot of times it does win. Because if it didn't, then I wouldn't use it. So I'm constantly going over to see, does my strategy work? And for this strategy, which is a 1 to 1.5, and also includes these indicators and zones, look, we've got a change. We got a change going on. So we're both still above. The MACD is going below. The MACD is going below. Price is still above. Now you see price went below. So the MACD is following. The MACD gives us what might come. Now look, we're still below. We went above price there a little bit. Now clearly this must already been a zone because as you can see, I've got marked off the weak area and the strong area. But anyway, I just wanted to show that's how I test this out, because the more I do this, the better I'm going to get. Okay, that's what all the books and everything I read. Practice, become an expert at trading. And if you don't think you're an expert, when you're putting your money out, you're at risk. You want to know this stuff as much as humanly possible, because at the end of the day, if I have more losses than I have wins, I am not happy with myself. I want wins, wins, wins. More wins, the better. And I need a 50% win rate, because as long as I've got, 45 at the lowest, because you still profit with a 1.5. But you always want to trade with more profit margin than loss. This way, because a lot of the times the way they teach you is a lot of these trades are losses. So you want to keep the losses tight and the possibility of getting your trade right higher. Higher profit. So there you go, guys. This was DeMarco Conquering Crypto Live. Tuesday night, I showed tons of information about technical analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Zach, I know you're here the whole time. We might have had a few other people that were here the whole time. I get different. It tells me sometimes that like 2, 3, 4, 5 people are watching, but then it gives me a different showing on my app, and that goes between 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes in and out. So I don't know who's been here the whole time, but Zach, I know you're here. I know we have had some other people here because the YouTube app tells me. So anyway, enjoy your week. We're going to see if Bitcoin's doing anything interesting. I'm still going to be trading throughout the night. My name's DeMarco. That was Conquering Crypto Live. That was a 2-hour show where I showed you nothing but solid strategies in trading and how you can trade better, find your zones, find your trends, trade your zones properly. And you can win, man. You can really win. I just showed you how I do it. And let me tell you, my P versus L is in the high P. So I do pretty well with this stuff, and that's why I'm showing it. That's it for me. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Discord. You can find my posts on TradingView. You can find us on TikTok. And if you want to tip me through Venmo. I will happily say thank you for a tip for giving you such good, sweet, sweet info. But that's it for now, guys. Peace out. Enjoy your week. And that's going to do it for my Tuesday night. We got a 2-hour show in. Peace out, guys. You're welcome, Zachariah. I sent you the link, by the way, for the monitors.